Welcome back to Liverpool Street Ticket Hall excavation. You can see that we're a lot lower down now, and if you imagine that really the top of these piles behind us is where we started digging through the Bedlam burial ground, and then during the last few weeks we've excavated down through the post-medieval layers, the Tudor period, then the medieval period, and we're right now standing at the Roman level, which dates to around 1800 years ago. We've had a great deal of personal artefacts, bits of jewellery, decorated pottery from the Roman period. We've also got a huge haul of Tudor artefacts deposited in the city ditch, which is a much later feature that runs behind us, absolutely full of debris from, domestic London in the Tudor period. So what we are seeing is a great continuity between the different periods here. We've just found an intact burial that most likely dates to the Roman period, and the most interesting thing about it is you can probably see the skull has been detached and placed between the knees of this individual. We can say that this isn't totally unusual in the Roman period, particularly towards the end of the Roman period when inhumation is getting more common and has really replaced cremation. But what we don't really understand is exactly why this has happened. It could be a number of different reasons. The first one obviously is an execution and beheading, but researchers in other parts of Britain have identified it doesn't always seem to be associated with punishment, and a violent end. Sometimes the skull is detached after death, and for those reasons could be to do with the religion of the time, the belief in the afterlife, perhaps making sure an individual doesn't come back to engage with the living by disconnecting the head from the body. The work we do in analysis is going to be crucial to understanding exactly what's happening here. So what we've uncovered just in the last day is a number of skulls appearing in this area. Can you see these four objects in front of me? They're actually mostly upside down, so they're not completely obvious, but these are skulls without the jaws. There could be that they're being washed into a channel, so they're part of a deposition along a channel edge, hence they're all ending up in a similar alignment. I mean, there's literally a line stretching from there all the way back to the end of the dig, and what we'll be looking for very carefully is evidence perhaps of any trauma or injury. It's a really interesting puzzle, this, as to how they got here, and as I said, if they show signs of injury, then the possibility is that these are beheading victims. Right behind me you can see the construction of the Roman road very clearly. If you just follow my finger on that very compacted orangey gravel, that's the uppermost layer of metalling they laid down, and then you can see a very, very compact stony layer below that, a kind of greyish clay, and then a more stony greyish clay, ultimately down to a foundation which seems to be brushwood strips. And you can probably notice the camber of the road. If you follow that orange layer to about that point, you can see it all dips down into this big U-shaped ditch, which would have been the drainage ditch either side of this Roman road. And we found the other ditch in the northern excavation we've done a few months ago, that side. So we'll be able to reconstruct the line of this Roman road and precisely how it was constructed. We've still got about a ½ metre of soil to dig out. Most of the soil that's gone from this huge hole has been dug out by hand over the last several weeks. And we've got another couple of weeks excavating down through these lower Roman layers. We're still, anticipating further finds from here in the next couple of weeks.